Shout out to Claritin for supporting this episode and providing us with samples.
My family is an allergy family, and one thing I can always count on is that somebody has the Claritin.
Luckily, for those of us who live with symptoms of allergies, we can live Claritin Clear with Claritin D.
Designed for serious allergy sufferers, Claritin D has 2 powerful ingredients in just 1 pill that relieve your allergy symptoms and decongest your nose so you can breathe better.
This double action combination of prescription strength allergy medicine and the best decongestant available relieves sneezing, a runny nose, itching, and watery eyes, an itchy nose and throat, and sinus congestion and pressure with ease.
I've got 2 nieces with extreme allergies, and the only thing that helps them is Claritin. We've always got it.
Oh yeah, my boyfriend, let me tell you something. When the allergies start up in Los Angeles, it's like, this is like reach for that Claritin. Ready to live life as if you don't have allergies? It's time to live Claritin Clear.
Fast and powerful relief is just a quick trip away. Find Claritin D at the pharmacy counter.
Ask for Claritin at your local pharmacy counter. You don't even need a prescription.
Go to Claritin.com right now for a discount so you can live Claritin Clear. Use as directed.
Audible offers an incredible selection of audiobooks across every genre.
As an Audible member, you can choose 1 title a month to keep from their entire catalog. The time is now, more than ever, to embrace the breathtaking, sinister, and shocking tales that have enthralled you, especially with brand new exclusive thrillers from best-selling authors who are guaranteed to keep you gripped.
Right now, one thing that I'm very interested in taking a listen to is The Daughters of Block Island, which is currently number 1 on the mystery, thriller, and suspense list. So that is definitely going into my queue. New members can try Audible free for 30 days.
Visit audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500.
It's 3 o'clock somewhere. Time for a My Mochi ice cream snack. My Mochi ice cream is cool, creamy scoops of premium ice cream wrapped in sweet, pillowy dough. And get this, all of My Mochi's fabulous flavors, like strawberry, mango, double chocolate, and cookies and cream, are only around 80 calories per piece. Talk about a guilt-free, indulgent experience. Each box of My Mochi ice cream has 6 perfectly portioned, gluten-free mochis that are great for grab and go. So feel good while curbing your afternoon cravings or the midnight munchies. Yeah, you know who you are with the joyfully chill sensation of My Mochi ice cream. Find My Mochi ice cream at Target or visit mymochi.com to locate a grocery store near you.
Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Hi everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of a 2-part recap. If you're wondering where part 1 was, well, go check in the feed and be sure to subscribe.
Okay, so the chef is going to kill Paris and Fraser. He does drizzle with green, though, which is funny. Okay, so then the dad is like, so Captain Carey, because Captain Carey's having dinner with them. He's like, so we just went to Switzerland, and then we're here, obviously. Hi here. And then after this, we're going to go to Dublin, because we're going to be following one of our favorite rock bands. And the captain's like, see you groupies. He's like, this is a family crew, Captain. No, it means you follow bands around. Yeah. What will we do?
The mom's like, it's the young Dubliners. I know. It's awful, but my husband goes off to see them, and I stay back to have a quote-unquote massage, a.k.a. I meet up with Fritz, the tennis instructor. I don't have to tell you what happens next, especially not in front of these girls with coconuts falling on their heads.
I know they're not the most exciting band in the world, but they're the only band that shows any excitement when my husband talks about the capacity of gas tanks on boats. So...
Well, I can either sit and listen to my husband drone on about fuel allowances on boats, or he can go off and see his band, and I can just read Time magazine quietly in bed and have a nice night.
So then Dylan is not only rapping, but he's rapping into his phone so he can save it later. He's rapping into his audio notes in his cabin because this is very serious music. So he's like, gonna take one of these guests into my room. Gonna be slick because I've got a big dick. Yeah. Not gonna say it's a little prick. Yeah.
I am loath to say that he was freestyling because that implies some sort of style. It was like he's free out of styling.
Or that anybody would want it, even if it's free.
Yeah. So it was more like pay out of styling, as in like you'd have to pay me to listen to that because I'm not going to listen to that for free. So now Sunny calls up her friend. She's like, "Oh, hello." And she's like,
What is that?
that's how she speaks to her friends in Quebec. Hello.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, I'm so happy I met this guy. And then at first I was like, does he like me? And now I'm like, of course he doesn't like me, just wants to fuck me. It's so great. I'm having the best time.
Like in the beginning, I was like in my feelings, but he like forced me to take a step back. Like we're not together, we're having fun. And I realized like, Sunny, you're just like a stupid girl who had like emotions because like he was indicating that we were actually together. But he made me realize I was the stupid one in this situation. And once I realized I was stupid, then it was so much better for me.
For Christmas, I'm getting him a shirt that says I'm with stupid and it has an arrow pointing to me. I just need to always remember to be standing on that side of him.
I just feel like I feel like so much better now that Ben has taught me. He's really like so smart and insightful.
It's rough. It's a rough watch. So Paris and Fraser are watching the chef who's foaming plates. And of course, it starts splurting out because it needs a little gas canister thing. Because they're sitting there staring at him with dirty looks like idiot. And she's like, you need more gas than that. See, it's runny. Yeah, he fucking knows. Oh my God. I want to yell at you. And you're like my favorite new cast member of the year.
I always think of when we went to the Top Chef event and all the chefs had little booths out and we went to Kwame's booth. It was the first thing ever. It was like the first challenge ever. And we went to Kwame, sweet Kwame, and he had foam on his thing and he like shook up the little foam thing and he was trying to discharge it onto our things and it wasn't working. And he was like so nervous and so like, oh my God. And I always remember him shaking that foam thing and like nothing coming out correctly. And then he was like trying to fix it in front of us. And I always think about that. And I feel ever since then, I've always felt so bad for chefs when they're trying to get the foam thing to work, it's not working and people are just staring at them. Cause I was like, that's what we did to Kwame. But you know what though? You're welcome, Kwame, because now you have the #1 restaurant in New York City as voted by the New York Times. And I think that you might not have had that grit had you not dealt with our judgment just staring you down. So you're welcome. We built you.
He has the #1 restaurant in New York.
Yeah, New York Times did their list of top restaurants in the city, and Kwame's restaurant is #1 for like the second year in a row.
Wow.
Yeah. We did that, Ronnie. That's what we did.
You guys,
like, I'll always remember what
leads to. It's every judgmental, shitty thing we say is just a tiny little cobblestone on your road to success.
Yes, we are making you tougher. We are letting you get to where you need to go. So you're welcome, Kwame, and also to Nick.
Implants today?
No, let's see. Oh my God,
wearing dentures.
I raised my reading glasses up. I don't know why, and I'm like,
look at those with my teeth eyes.
They don't look like
okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just I usually don't look at the video while we're recording because I start staring at myself and like get boners. So I have to stop. But yeah, I just caught myself and I was like, wow, why do I have Bravo teeth today? I didn't do anything to my teeth. Okay, what were you saying? Finish with Kwame. Kwame's splooting.
I was just saying that's why I was like, Paris, meaning that he's just trying to foam these things. And Paris is like, oh, you need more gas in there. See, it's runny. I was like, just let the man foam in peace.
You know, I mean, it's like, it must be what it's like to be a porn star with people just standing around waiting for you to foam. It's like, it's not working. Here's what you have to do to make it work. It's like, gonna get some quiet on the set. Okay. So then, preference sheet meeting time. Wait, is it preference sheet? No, it's not. Where are we?
in the middle of the charter. No. So he's starting to mess up.
Never mind, I'm not gonna.
He's starting to mess up a lot because she's like, oh, I think like it's not, you need more gas, you need this, and like he's like dropping things, and she's just like he's like trying to concentrate, and she keeps saying things, and he's just getting more and more frustrated.
Yeah. So that's rough. Galley Paris ate. So okay. So now it's breakfast. Is it breakfast time now?
It's bedtime. No, it's not. So, stuff happens.
I'm sorry. I got lost in my notes because I was staring at my teeth. No, that's not why. I switched note
Look
versions.
for foam. look for foam.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So then he
search
tells
for
her
foam.
friend, foam on food. Okay. So Nick goes to his cabin and he's going crazy. So he just goes to his cabin and screams into a pillow. He's like, "Oh!" Which I cracked up. So this guy's an asshole, but he has been to therapy, probably to jail, because he's definitely learned how to take his anger out in a healthier way than throwing knives at people's head, which is what the Italian chef I used to work with in New York used to do to me when I fucked up, as he called me stupid putana.
So we then go to the captain. He's like upstairs. And he's like, well, I'm not looking forward to oh no, he's telling the guests, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow's docking. Let me tell you, it's gonna be windy. All right, everyone, enjoy your night.
We
Don't
could
be
all
terrified.
die tomorrow. Enjoy this squid on a purple smudge or something, because it could be your last meal tomorrow.
Better than beer, though, am I right? Imagine if your last meal was beer.
Tomorrow, the most terrifying show on television is coming here. Wind. And somewhere in Florida, Sandy's like, honey, did you set the timer for wind? Can't wait to watch that. It's supposed to be real good tomorrow.
Wait a second, I just pressed play. I thought it was the season premiere, but I'm just watching someone fiddling with the clock. Honey, did you DVR wind instead of wind?
Oh, God. It's a show about clocks. Not again. Too many channels.
The DVR doesn't understand the difference with those words.
All right, well, I'll just sit here and watch Wind, I guess. Hello, welcome to Wind. I hope everybody enjoys my new flamingo suit.
Oh, coming up, we are going to talk about Summer House Martha's Vineyard. We probably should mention that at the top of the show. So now the captain goes in. He tells chef, he's like, just so you know, good food, mate. The guests loved it. I loved it. Everyone loved it. Or actually, as they would say in Turkish, da 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 da. Onu çok sevdim. I loved it so much.
So Nick is now just going crazy. He's just talking to himself. And he's like, where's my cuddle pillow? God, come here, cuddle pillow. Come here, cuddle pillow. And jumps into the bed and buries his face under the pillow. So then Dylan is by the hot tub. And the girls are like, oh, my God, maybe we should play Truth or Dare. Dylan, you want to play? He goes, Dare, Dare. Dare, Dare, Dare. There's a Dare. I run Dare with Dare. I'm a rapper. And so she's like, okay, Derek, take off your shirt and do your best dance for us. And he does the most Dylan dance I've ever seen anybody Dylan. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like watching that white girl twerk every episode on that other season. It's bad.
Courtney. Yeah, he is. So he takes off his shirt. He's like, yeah, baby. Yeah, I'm sexy. I'm going to seduce a girl. So he's doing this thing, and then he takes water and he tries to do like a Magic Mike moment by pouring, like, takes his water bottle and tries to pour it on. He pours it on his chest, and he goes, yeah.
He literally does. He
squeaks.
started squealing.
He becomes
Like,
coquettish.
I've got one point on my mind, and it's saying, Dylan, if you're going to hook up with OK, number one, Carrie is going to skin your balls. Number two, it's a fireable offense. So I'm going to get Instagrams instead. Damn it. Damn it. Girls, give me your Instagrams. So they get Instagram switches, and then he goes to bed like a good little boy.
Yeah, well, we knew he wasn't really going to make a move on anyone. So I just had a hunch. So then Dylan and Nick are in the cabin, and Nick is like, Sid, how you doing? I'm having some bit of issues with Paris. It's her issues, not mine. If she doesn't like me, it's not my fault. She demands the power when she gets it. And Dylan's like, yeah, I see what you mean, bro. Love life, chillin'. Huh. So I just remember that water. Remember that water on my chest? It was so cold, I had a residual.
I'm coming up with the new rap. It goes, don't worry, big oh.
Here's a little song I wrote. Gonna sing it note by so it's called water.
Up in the bridge we hear wind. Welcome to Wind. And Captain Carey's watching Wind on the TV, and he's going, oh God, here it is. And Dylan is DMing Sarah, one of the daughters. He's like, Sucks charter ends today. Can't wait to send you my new album. I did it on voice notes. Stand by.
It's called Standby, actually. He's like, sorry, we didn't get to hang more. I was going to show you all the secrets to washing calories off of ham. And she's like, yeah, come hang out with us in LA. Yeah, great. Maybe she's the reason why he wound up with Katie in Vanderpump Rules. He went to visit this girl. And then like somehow like maybe she's friends with Katie or something like that. Like I still want someone to answer why Dylan was sitting next to Katie on Vanderpump Rules.
I feel like they probably just met at some Bravo thing, and she was like, let's hang out when you're in LA.
It's like, yeah, girl. So, I can rap. I can rap at your emo night.
And that's the last time Katie would ask you to hang out. Rap one time. She'll be like, die. Okay. So, now it's breakfast, and, Paris is in there, and she takes orders. She gets some crepe orders, right? So she goes in there and she's like, crepes. He goes, I knew I should have prepped crepes earlier. And she's like, just make the crepes. So he starts making them, and she goes, oh, that pan's a little big. 8 inches. I'd go 7. I know crepes need to cook a little bit low and slow. And he's like, this is a proper pan for a crepe. She goes, I just, low and slow, because otherwise you get these little. Okay, now what are you doing? Who
Paris
authorized this? What is wrong with her?
Who authorized this crepe commentary? Unless you have a podcast, you do not get to weigh in on the chef's crepes.
Not to a chef, not to the chef. Who goes into it while someone is working and is like, that's not how you cook. Like, that is literally crazy. I mean, the plates, okay. The garnish, not great. But this is nuts. I can't believe he's staying calm through this.
I know. And he tells us that she needs to back the fuck off. And she goes, butter with a bit of oil does wonders with crepes. Oh, okay. Come on, Paris.
Come on. So, breakfast. Okay. So they love the breakfast, whatever. Okay. So then, it's going to be the craziest talking we've ever had. Everyone could die. Everyone walks out talking. Wind, talking. Everyone's fine.
Everyone's fine.
They
hyped up this win. I mean, they were hyping up this win from last night. They hyped up this docking so more than the usual one. Well, actually, no, they always hype up the docking in a different way. It's like, oh, this docking's to be difficult. There's a badge somewhere in the harbor, and we saw a seagull flying nearby. We don't want to hear seagulls, so we have to get somewhere between the badge and the seagull. And I don't know if we're gonna do it because the wind's a little wet, it's a little windy, and you just go, oh, we actually docked. We actually docked. And
we're fine. Everything's fine. We did it.
We're fine. We did it.
Okay, so now is tip time, and they're like, the food was divine. My daughter learned how coconuts work. So that was fun. Thanks, guys. And we love you. Please come stay with us. And so Barbie's like, oh my God, I feel like my parents just left. And they were disappointed. I'm not going to lie. It hurt. But you know what? The most important thing is I'm being me, and I'm a person who fucks poor people occasionally. So suck it, Dad.
Well, now it's time for a tip meeting. So they all gather. It's like, all right, everyone. Guys, excellent job. We got one chatter left. No reason for sore heads. We got 25 grand, guys. Oh, wow. Hey, ain't a free place to stay in California. Am I right, Dylan? Am I right? Yeah, sounds good to me.
And tonight, everybody's going to go bowling. Which is random, but sounds fun, So now...
It's so funny to me because I know bowling... like is an international sport. It must be an international sport. But I just think of it as being so American. Not like it's ours. It just feels very American. Like just the way like the shirts you wear, the shoes you wear. It just feels like something that people outside of America would be like disgusting, So it's funny to me that like it's just funny to see bowling outside of America. It's exactly the same. Just the context of it is just amusing to me.
Well, the fashion is definitely American.
Bowling shirts, those shoes, everything about it.
Yeah, it really is. Why isn't bowling an Olympic sport?
That's a great question, actually.
Well,
I think it should totally be an Olympic sport. Why is it like
it's not actually?
How is it that
the younger demographics, unequal playing conditions, unsuccessful IOC voting, absence from final shortlists, and no Paralympic presence?
But it's funny because curling is a sport, but not bowling, and curling kind of feels like ice bowling to some degree.
Yeah, I don't know. What can I tell you? Okay, I skip them every time they're on.
You can tell me a lot.
I can tell you that much about the Olympics. Do not care about them. But congratulations to everybody who does things. Okay, so Paris gets called to the bridge, and Fraser goes, "Oh my God, please don't get fired. We need you." Well, if she does, it's your fucking fault. you ass.
Yeah.
So she goes up there, and he's like, good day, have a seat. I want to have a chat with you. I want to talk about the beach today. And she's like,
All right. So, he's got 3 stripes. You've got 1. And my echinida has 5 penises. All right. Let's not count everything. If he comes to the
not
beach.
sexy time. All right. We're at work.
And let's not forget, I think it's pronounced echidna, not echinida. So if he comes to the beach and says, this is the way I want to do it, it's not your place to argue with him about it.
And she's like, well, when we're doing plates and organising for the beach before I go, I'm being told by the chief steward this is how we're plating. So I assume that that's been discussed with the chef. And, well, listen, we've all been butting heads with him, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
It's frustrating because he just has that real blocky head. So when you butt heads with him, it really hurts. So he's like, well, he's the chef. In between him and the chief steward, they want to battle that out. That's fine, not the rest of the time. So you guys are not to be dragged into what's going on between them. So stay professional. Got it? It's like, got it. All right, now go back to being the gay icon that you are.
Please. Let's get back to hating the straight guy. All right, let's get back to hating the sexist straight guy. That would be great now.
The gays want to support you right now, and they're having trouble. So
the gays have already put your poster up in all of their bedrooms. All right.
Listen, I just got an invitation that you are the honorary marshal of the West Hollywood Gay Pride celebration this year, but I can't give it to you in all honesty until you figure things out with this chef. Thank you very much.
Travel plans have already been made for you for the annual Crape Awards, somewhere called New York City. So please get it together. So Captain calls Fraser a Nick now over the radio. And Ben, gossip ass Ben is like, oh, I think something's happened. Everyone's getting called in there.
We really figured that one out. So they come up. And he's like, all right, well, because I don't like calling out crew in front of crew, but what I do like is calling up crew in front of crew. Big difference there. All right, so everyone, there's a communication breakdown between departments, and I'm not having it. You two have got to work together, okay? He's got a job to do. I don't need to tell him how to do his job. You know what I need? More adventure! This is not adventure.
You need to work it out. Are you willing to work together? And Nick's like, yeah, of course. And Fraser's like, yes, sounds great. Can't wait to pour you a Red Bull.
Can't wait to pour you 2 Red Bulls. I mean, I would have saved one of those for the guests, but I guess chef always comes before guests. Isn't that what we've learned? So, yes, chefy, you should have all the Red Bulls you should absolutely need.
And then this is what killed me with Fraser. So they walk out and Fraser goes, well, I think what we should do first and foremost, before the charter, we'll get menus straight away done. And then we can go through every single meal and single plate, every single special plate. And I'll run all services. Like, he totally set up Paris to do that. And now he's setting himself up to be like, don't you want to work with me now that you've had this person in here bossing you around? Now you can work with me. I'll run everything. And he gets him to be like, good. Thank you so much, Fraser.
And then Fraser tries to do like a fist bump.
Such a little bitch.
I love the awkwardness of Fraser doing a fist bump. He's like, so I know that this is something that straight men appreciate. So here is my fists. Please be gentle with it as my wrists are 30% smaller than yours. Thank you.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
The Coca-Cola Company, Keurig Dr. Pepper, and PepsiCo are bringing consumers more choices with less sugar than ever before. From sparkling, flavored, and bottled waters to zero-sugar sports drinks, teas, and sodas, consumers are taking advantage of these choices. In fact, nearly 60% of beverages sold contain zero sugar. To learn more, visit balanceus.org.
Every day, our world gets a little more connected, but a little further apart. But then, there are moments that remind us to be more human.
Thank you for calling Amica Insurance.
Hey, I was just in an accident.
Don't worry, we'll get you taken care of.
At Amica, we understand that looking out for each other isn't new or groundbreaking. It's human. Amica, empathy is our best policy.
What makes a life a good one? Is it the adventure you have? Or the friends you find along the way? Maybe it's pursuing your passion while striving to protect, defend, and save what you believe in every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? In the Coast Guard, we think it's all of the above and more, but you'll have to find out for yourself. Visit gocoastguard.com to learn more.
So let's see. So they decide to get along. So now it's preference sheet meeting, and we find out that the new guest is a pediatric dentist from Tacoma Park, Maryland. They're going to have some fun, guys, and they have a Reiki practitioner, and they want a Beyonce party. Get ready to blast off.
Yeah. So now they're all getting ready to go out, and some of them are dressing up sort of formally, like Nick puts on a tie, and most importantly, Kyle puts on a kilt. So Barbie sees it, and she's like, I like you a lot, but I like the upper part. And he's like, oh, what's wrong with it? And she's like, and she tells us, I don't like the kilt. Like, I get it's a cultural thing, but he likes to show his thing, and I want to put some pants on him. What are you talking about? The kilt is amazing, first of all. It looks great. And it's also like a formal look, and like her dissing the formal look, I actually think it's like actually quite insensitive.
At first I thought, wow, she's really going there against kilts. She's going to get in a lot of trouble. But then when we see what happens, she knows what's going to happen. She's like, he's wearing this kilt because he's not going to wear underwear, and then he can flash his dick at people all night. And I don't want to be with a fucking pervert flashing his dick at people all night.
So don't be with a pervert who's flashing his dick. That's it.
But she was right. And sure enough, they go bowling, and he gets shit-faced and starts flashing his dick at everybody, and she's mortified, and he won't stop it. And he loves that he's pissing her off with it. And then she's getting more and more pissed off with it, so he keeps doing it. And then she's like, but I'm really mad, though, because my dad was going to be so upset about this. And so he's like, I'm sorry, then. I'm sorry, lass. And then they make up and make out anyway. But it was like a bunch of wiener drama. And I think you're right. Like, you can't date somebody that's like poor and flashing his dick all the time, and then be mad that you're dating somebody that's poor and flashing his dick all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
like,
I don't think it's unreasonable to be like, can you not flash your dick tonight?
I don't think it's unreasonable, but like, again, if you decide that you want to date the person who's like the dick flasher, and then you decide to change them from dick flashing, especially when it's almost like a cultural dick flashing. I know that like wearing a kilt does not mean, I know it's not a cultural thing in Scotland to flash your dick, but it sounds like it kind of is in a certain way. And like, I don't know, I think this is on her, and I think she has to get over it, especially because the kilt's hot. Like, the kilt made him look a lot hotter, I thought. Like, that definitely like gave him like...
So are giant wieners. And he's also spreading that around. He's just like flapping his giant wiener at everybody, which I don't mind a penis flashing pervert. But you know who does? The law. They generally mind. And maybe Barbie does want to live with a kilt wearing pervy penis flasher, and maybe they'll find a deal by a school, and they won't be able to live there because he's going to be on the sex offenders registry if he keeps this behavior up in public places. You never know.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where she doesn't, I don't think she inherently cares about the kilt and the flashing. She cares about what her dad would say about it, because her dad would be like, that's rude behavior. Her dad would say what we said about him before when he was on FaceTime with the mother. Like, I can't believe he's so loose with his body language. You know, her dad would say the same thing. Like, well, that's just inappropriate. You should not be doing that in a public space. And she knows that. And it's stressing her out because she's already placing herself in a theoretical situation where she has to choose between her father and Kyle, and it's stressing her out. So she's just taking it out on Kyle. And, you know what? I don't know. I think you're lucky to have a man with a kilt. I think the kilt is to me, the kilt is like a big value add. And I think that she should focus on how cool the kilt is and less about the flashing.
Yeah, I just wish there were multiple seasons with the same cast over and over sometimes, because I think that future plot lines would involve Barbie and Kyle coming up with ways to kill her father and get the inheritance so she can just do whatever the fuck she wants and stop worrying about it. You know what I mean? And I love a good parental murder story. I've always loved those on Lifetime. And that would be fun. Not saying in real life. I'm just saying stories. Yeah. Movies. not real. Ooh. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for...
Oh, wait. No.
Oh, you're right. No. We have something else to do today.
No,
you're
the
correct.
Show goes on because we didn't do this yesterday because we wound up talking about
New Jersey
for
kilt
2 hours.
Just drop my kilt.
Come on, Ronnie. Let's flash America with our thoughts on Southern Charm. I mean, not Southern Charm.
Summer House,
Summer
Martha's
House.
Vineyard.
So we were going to talk about this with New Jersey, but we wound up talking. Our New Jersey episode was literally 2 hours long, where I don't know what we even talked about for 2 hours, but we did it. So, but we do want to talk about what happened with Summer House this week. I thought this episode was so funny. I really enjoyed this one, mainly because the center of it, the through line, was that Bria and Simon had a big fight over an inflatable flamingo outfit. So, for those who don't remember, Nick had this party that was more of a formal party / it was very much about like Black fraternity, sorority, remembering a line brother who had died. And at the end of it, what's his face? Simon came downstairs in an inflatable flamingo costume that was really just not his place to wear. And so Bria, who's always excited to flip out anyway, she flipped out probably in one of her more, what's the right word? Like deserving flip outs? Like merited. One of her more merited flip outs.
Yeah. Because, it's just one of those guys. It's like, even if you say, please don't wear the flamingos. Okay, I won't wear a flamingo. You're not going to wear the flamingo suit, right? No, I'm not going to wear a flamingo. Okay, party. I'm in flamingo. I'm a flamingo. She's like, oh my God, why are you wearing the flamingo? Why can't I wear flamingo? Go take off the flamingo. Why? I don't have to take off flamingo. Go take off the fucking flamingo. I'm not taking off flamingo. Like, he's such a fucking...
Why don't I take a flamingo? The flamingo is so funny, though. The best is actually the next day, or actually later that night, when they are having their argument, and he speaks sort of in this calm German accent. He's like, but everyone liked the flamingo. What is wrong with the flamingo? You can just flip out at anyone, and I can't wear a flamingo. Bria, next time you see, if you go with Simon anywhere, next time you see his luggage and you see anything that is like inflatable in that luggage, just burn it right away before you can even put it on. Because like the fact that there even was a inflatable flamingo in the first place was your first danger sign.
It's very other Summer House. It's very like Kyle and a mullet. You know what I mean? Like, I'm man baby and I wear flamingo because hilarious. Of course I do. But she's trying to explain to him, like, this is a more sensitive event because it's all his fraternity brothers, and he's like the classy guy in the house. So he wants everything to be like super classy and high end, and you're coming in down in a costume and making that. And he's talking about his friend who passed away, and but he won't get it. And I think he's just trying to be fun, like the fun guy at the party, and that's his way of ingratiating himself into the group. But whatever it is, wrong road, sir. You're on the wrong road.
He's like, I thought it was a pool party. And so he's like, but this is what you always do. You always flip out. You're always flipping out. Because she says, you know what? Like, if with your parties, I'm always on my best behavior, and the way you act at your parties is totally different. He's like, yeah, but at the last party, you said, I don't fuck with you. And you left in 5 minutes. How swiftly were you to leave? And she's like, that's because your friends were racist. He's like, what? He's like, oh, you don't see this? You always claim like you never see this, you never see that. And he's like, no. And she's like, yeah. And we find out that like he had a party, and like his sister-in-law or something like that said something like, oh, I didn't know that Simon was into indigenous people, or something like that. Something like so wildly offensive. I don't know how Bria is with this guy, because I feel like it would be very difficult to be in that situation. He must like I don't know, is she digmatized? I don't know what it is.
Well, does she have a job? I mean, does he take care of? I don't know what it is. Like, if is he like supposed to be wealthy? Because remember last year he like showed up in his, rented Ferrari or whatever the hell. So I don't know if he's like wealthy. Like, I don't know. And they do seem to have they seem to like each other, even though they're fighting all the time.
They do.
And, some of that stuff is like, what is culture? Like, what is language barrier? Like, what were they trying to say? And all this stuff, we just don't know. But either way, like, to even have to come up with the mental gymnastics to make that okay for yourself, like, I don't know that I would be able to jump through those hoops. So his story is that he had a work party, I think, and that she flipped out on everybody and left the party. And so she made a big scene at the party and left, which sounds on brand. And she was saying, well, that's because everybody there is racist. So we don't really know what happened, but these two sound like a goddamn mess. I'll tell you, they're both in totally different worlds with each other. And it sounds like each one is a mess in their perspective. Like it sounds like rough to navigate.
Yeah, and this was a big fight because Amir came in and tried to like mediate and wasn't very helpful. And then they had like they actually talked about it the next day when they were sober. And what I liked is that he was trying to do this thing of like, I don't like to fight with you. I thought it was fun. It was the wrong place. And it's just like, no, I don't want to hear it because this is what you do. You're disrespectful. She wouldn't let him do like the puppy dog thing, which I actually really appreciated out of Bria. And I felt like she was totally right in this fight. And it sounds like she has been put in really miserable situations over in Germany, whether it's like intentional or not. It sounds like it really sucks. And it sounds like it's largely like a whole bunch of fuckery that's been happening. So I like that she really gave it to him. But then in the end, they still wound up like together. So, they're just going to be one of those toxic couples that will fight.
They're one of those couples. They love to fight. They love a public fight. And it's always very dangerous around those couples to pick a side because their love language is fighting. And you're always going to be the one left on the outside in that couple if you give them advice or whatever. And Amir did. Amir was really funny because he was wasted. And so he's like, we're going to talk about you guys as a couple. And, you made her mad. And then you were not very thoughtful. Here's what you need to do to make Natalie happy. Don't ever look at a woman.
Amir was having the best time at that party. He loves that trampoline. Do you know, like, I feel like every episode he's like, hey guys, so we're just gonna do some dishes and then head out to that trampoline. Anyone want to follow? And so we see him at one point, like there's a crowd around him and he's just bouncing up and down on the trampoline, just like doing flips. He was just like living his best little boy life.
Yeah, he sure was. So then the other drams in this episode turned into more Nick drama. So Tasia is there visiting, for this couple's weekend or whatever, and Nick's big party. And Natalie, Amir's girlfriend, is just there to try and get on the show. I read that he said somewhere that he's not coming back to this show unless Natalie's coming with him. And it's obvious that they're trying to make her a cast member because she's just walking around trying to be as shitty and cause as much drama as she possibly can. And it's like, this isn't your show. I need you to you need to leave people wanting more. You're trying very, very hard and it's gross. It's gross. It's not,
that was my instinct, but then there was part of me that was like, well, I'm sort of like thankful that she was being like this because, we need a villain. We need a proper villain. And she could be our villain. She could be our messy, messy villain because she is so blatantly messy. So basically.
And this was one of their best episodes of the season.
It was.
We have been complaining that there are no villains. So I'm not saying change it. I'm just saying I love having someone to be like, you shouldn't be doing that. Because that's what you're supposed to do on these shows. You have to have someone that you're like, you are totally wrong. I hope they fire her. Let's start at change.org. But you don't want them to actually do it. You need the villain on the show, right?
Yeah. You want someone that they don't fire, but that you get so angry that they're not fired. So you're mad.
But as a person watching it, I'm like, gross. You're trying.
Yeah. As a person, I was like, you were really thirsty. I think it was because I think it was just that she's not a member of the show, that she just came to visit and then she like inserted herself and tried to start drama everywhere. That's where I was like, oh, you're kind of pathetic. But if she were an actual cast member, I'd be like, good for you. We need a villain. So the whole thing was that at one point, Noelle and Shanice and Bria are hanging out on the trampoline and they're just like talking about Nick and saying how he's like, he's handsy or he's got a wandering eye or whatever. Or like, like if I were Tasia, like, I wonder if like how weird it must be. Like she comes here, she doesn't even realize he's doing all these things, yada, yada. They're just like chatting. And Natalie has one of these things where she goes, I just feel bad because these conversations are happening behind Tasia's back and I feel like she should know. So what happens is like the next day or later that day or whatever, the group is going to do this group bike ride and they all meet up at a restaurant and they meet up with Nick and Tasia. And they're all sitting there, and Tasia has only like 45 minutes before she has to go to the airport. And so Natalie, across the whole table, mouths, we need to talk. You and I, we need to talk. Like she's so clunky about it. She makes it clear to everyone sitting there that there needs to be a conversation and there may be some drama.
Yes. And so what does Tasia do? She's just like, okay.
She walks up to Tasia. She walks up to Tasia and she goes, we need to talk. I need to talk to you about something. And Tasia's like, I don't want to. She's like, I know you're trying to start some shit with me, and I've got 45 minutes left, and I want to enjoy what I have left. Because last time I came here, and you guys tried to start shit with me, and this year you're going to try to start it again, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah, she's like, well, but they're saying, why do you want to talk to her? And she's like, well, because I think there's stuff that's being talked about that you should be aware of or whatever. And she's like, no, I pass.
Tasha's like, I'm not a reality star.
Yeah, I won't be doing that. So, yikes. Okay. So then Nick is pissed now, right?
Because he is texting with what's her face, Natalie, on the way to the airport. To be like, what was this all about?
What's going on? Yeah, and she's like, well, the girls were talking and they were saying that you're really touchy. Like,
and he's like, what? He's like, why? He goes, why is it always something? He writes in caps, why is it always something? So now Natalie knows she fucked up. She goes, no. I just wanted to help her. I wanted her to get a story. I just want to give her heads up. I didn't want her to be blind. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. It was totally be helpful. Oh my God, I feel so bad. So she starts sending all these text messages like, I feel so bad. Like she was like, a messy person caught, and then Amir's trying to be like, she was just trying to help. She's just trying to like smooth things over. It was really coming from a good place.
Yeah, and he's basically like, well, look, she's friends with Tasia, so if people are talking about Tasia's, it's like she wants her to know what everybody's saying on camera, like she has a right to address it or whatever.
Right.
Which kind of makes sense, except the way that Natalie is going about it is just so obviously like, I'm doing this for
thirsty.
The cameras, and doing it in front of everybody so that everybody's talking about it, and it's obviously causing drama, so he's kind of losing on that one.
Yeah, and so the other thing is that Natalie delivers the message of, she makes it sound like Shanice, Bria, and Noelle were all saying that Nick was handsy with them. So so now Nick is upset. He's like, I understood, like I had my conversation with Summer and with Jordan, and that was squashed, everything's fine. But I also I was handsy with them because we have a close relationship, and I I misunderstood what was appropriate for me, whatever. But with the other three, that literally never happened. So then he's mad, and he's like, there winds up kind of being like a little house meeting, and he's like calling out the girls and calling out Noelle, and she's like, no. And then Shanice is like, I never said that about you. I was saying that it's just something that's talked about. And then he tries to call out Brielle.
When he called out Noelle, that wasn't cool. He goes, and you, Noelle? I mean, what the hell? I know you want to be included in things, or I know you want to feel a part of things, but that's not cool. Yeah, it's like, Nick, you're in the right here, but you're also, it's like we're talking about with Paris, you know what I mean? Like, we should be rooting for you in this situation, but you
also do have a wandering eye. Like, they pull up all this footage of him just staring at other women, So then he tries to start up with Bria, and then he gets really rude. I forget what he says to her, but she's like, watch your tone. And this was shockingly 2 for 2 for Bria for me. I was like, she's right in this situation too. She was like he was being really disrespectful to her, being really condescending when you're the one with the wandering eye, sir. So the cliffhanger was basically her being like, watch your tone with me. And that was the big drama that happened. And the only other two things that I felt were noteworthy was Alex. The whole episode was him just coming out of bathrooms, having just shat in them. It's like they'd be having conversations, and then all of a sudden Alex would be like, oh, hey guys, sorry, don't worry, I sprayed in there.
Yeah. And what was on the preview for next week, the season finale?
I don't remember, actually. It's just, I think
next week's the season finale, so that should be interesting to see. But overall, I mean, I think they've had a rough season of it. I think we've talked about it before, getting rid of their villains and stuff. But I enjoy this show, and the viewership seems to be going up a bit. It was at around 200,000, which isn't great, but it went up 100,000, so that's pretty good. And then who knows? I saw that they had casting notices for it a few months ago.
Good.
So.
I think it's a really good show, and I just think it's been a little bit of an up and down season. There've been some episodes that have been really good, but then there've also been some episodes that have been just really slow. It kind of reminds me of the second season of Summer House, the original. The first season I loved. Second season felt actually just like this. It was a little uneven, but then they kind of found their way forward. I think that what's so good about Summer House, Martha's Vineyard is that I think that the cast is. They're people that I enjoy I just enjoy them. I think they're like their rapport is really fun and their banter is really fun and funny and they crack jokes and I sit there like I'm like one of their friends, you know. But it's just that without a villain, the show like you still have to have real like storytelling, you know. And so if you don't have a villain, it's just watching people hang out. So.
Yep. Well, I'm enjoying it. It'll be over next week, so we'll see what's to come, everybody. In the meantime, sorry we're not doing full recaps of this show. There's just so many shows on, and we're just basically using who's listening to what kind of.
Yeah, we're going with our ratings, to be honest.
We're following the listens at this point, and we just can't cover everything. But it's a great show. Hope everybody's watching it. And thank you so much for joining us here. We will be back tomorrow with some Vanderpump Rules or The Valley. One of those. What are we doing tomorrow? One of them.
No, maybe, I don't know. Maybe we'll switch it up. Maybe we'll do The Valley tomorrow and do, I don't know. Something.
Who knows, everybody? Something.
We'll discuss.
There's something every day. Thank you so much for being here. We love you guys. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye. Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. We want to hang with Liz Lang. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
We forever love Ava.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jen Plish. She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch. She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. Ring that bell for Rachel. She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
I love a good parasocial relationship with a celebrity who will probably never know my name.
I mean, honestly, who knows? Don't count yourself out. But my favorite part about these feuds is how they're ignited by the tiniest things.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it.
I accidentally laminated my brows too much.
It starts small and then it gets so big.
To be honest, Naomi, I'm fearful of you to this day.
I don't know her. We all just have to admit, we're addicted. Everybody has opinions. Everyone picks sides.
Leave Britney Spears alone right now.
From Wondery, I'm Sydney Battle.
And I'm Matt Belisai.
And this is Dis and Tell, where we unpack why we get so invested in these feuds and whether or not our attention only makes the whole thing worse.
Follow Dis and Tell wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Shimol Yai, and I have a new podcast called The Competition. Every year, 50 high school senior girls compete in a massive scholarship competition.
I wouldn't say I have an ego problem, but I'm extremely competitive.
All of the competitors are used to being the best and the brightest, and they're all vying for a huge cash prize.
This will probably be the most intense thing you've ever gone through in your life.
I remember that feeling because I was one of them. I lost. But now, I'm coming back as a judge and also a kind of teen girl anthropologist. Because if you want to understand what it's like to be a young woman in America today, the competition's not a bad place to start.
Hopefully, no one will die on stage tonight.
From Pineapple Street Studios and Wondery, this is The Competition. Follow The Competition on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to The Competition early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.